أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا ولم ينفعنا وزدنا علما يا كريم يا رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, we're on the beautiful days in the month of Ramadan. I think we're up to, it's going to be the 17th night tonight, I believe, or 16th, today's the 16th day. So always halfway done with the month. We're almost halfway done with the surah in terms of the tafsir wise. No coincidence there, but anyhow. So alhamdulillah, it's good that we spend these days actually learning about the Quran, as the majority of people are reading the Quran and maybe not understanding it. So at least we could at least understand the verse what our Lord has set down to us. So last week we covered a good amount of verses, and then we're just going to do like kind of a little bit of a summary. This class obviously once a week, so we kind of forget what we did from the last week. So one thing we talked about is like the bounties of Al-Rahman, the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about He spread out the earth. Number one, He talks about that, and that's for our beings. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about fruits, so He put all type of fruits in there, He put date palms and so forth. And we talk about the purpose of that, we all know about nutrition, we know about just food in general. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, especially when He mentions fruits is something you just kind of enjoy. You know, you sit there eating a mango, you're eating a watermelon, it's something that's like in terms of like relaxation and enjoyment. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about He created humans from clay. We went over last week about all the different stages of how Allah created us. From turab, dirt, from mud, from then mixed mud, if you will, then dry mud, and then finally you have the sounding clay, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put at least the soul into Adam alayhi salam at that time. And then we talked about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created jinns, right? That they have some smokeless fire, or at least fire that's from a pure fire, pure flame. And then you cannot see them, but it's something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the two easts and the two wests. Remember, how did we understand that last week? Anyone remember? The two easts and the two wests. A couple of you heard from last week.
Like the sun rising in different parts of the world at different times.
Right, so I kind of put the little picture there. When the sun's rising here, obviously this is morning. And then when it's coming over there, it's closing up over there, then obviously there's Maghrib time it's setting. So that's like almost like the two east, if you will. And where the sun is setting, going down in the west, it's rising up in the east somewhere else, if you will, further away. So it kind of covers the whole earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. If you think about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have said that He's the Lord of the world. And that would have been the same meaning. Everyone would have got that. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He's the Lord of the two east and two west, it makes you start thinking more. And that's exactly what the Quran is about thought-provoking, right? To get people to think more about the creation. Because naturally people don't think, we're like really lazy when we talk about like nature and so forth. Like we mentioned last week, this is a disease of our hearts, it's a disease of modern maybe technology, and nothing wrong with technology, but in terms of it pulls us away from the nature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you guys are not going to just look at the world, so I'm going to give you something to ponder on. The two east and two world and the two west. Now think about that now a little bit, what that means. So to make you have to think about the earth a little bit, what that actually entails, right? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the seas don't transgress each other. So we give you a couple opinions about that. Number one, it was talking about, some of the scholars mentioned that it's talking about the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf. And between it is known as the Arab Peninsula, Saudi Arabia predominantly. And it kind of separates these two bodies of water. Then we talked another opinion that this means that the fresh water and salty water, rivers and oceans, right? And they don't mix. And we can give a little example here of that when rivers go into the Gulf of Alaska or the Amazon River into the Atlantic Ocean, or sometimes two oceans. Because of the density of the water and the currents, they don't have this, they have this, show this kind of, this barrier line there, which is not technically a literal barrier, but it kind of shows them how they don't mix, because like I mentioned a little bit scientifically of their density and so forth. So there's a couple of things that we covered from last week. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking a lot about His nature. But this week you can see we have a different turn of events in terms of the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about these ayat and how He changes the theme. The next verse that we have, where we left off on, was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَخْرُجُ مِنْهُمَا اللُّؤْلُؤُ وَالْمَرْجَانُ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that pearls, that from both of them emerge pearls and coral. So let me just go back. I was supposed to take this off the screen, so I'm just going to go back really quick. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says from both of them, from both of the salty and sweet water, river water, and oceans comes from them pearls and corals. Anyone see an issue with that at all? Think critically a little bit. So from both of them, from rivers and from oceans, comes pearls. Where do pearls come from?
Mostly ocean.
Ocean.
Ocean. But what's it literally come from? Clams, right?
Yes.
From ocean. And then corals. Where do corals usually find?
Ocean.
Ocean. Yeah.
So there's an issue here. There's not, from what I know from that scientific study that you can do, you can look it up, corals don't grow in fresh water. They need salt water.
Yeah.
So therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this verse that comes from both of them, what? Pearls and corals. So one thing is that it was known that pearls only came from salt water. Later on now they found out that there's something called freshwater freshwater pearls, that come from clams that live in freshwater. As mentioned that in the Mississippi River they have some and some other places. So alhamdulillah we got that done. Right, so alhamdulillah we got saved on that one. There. Not really saved because Allah subhanahu of course knows. It's us to find it out. You know what I mean? So it's us that need to find out. Not that we need to disprove Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course not. That's a wrong mentality, right? So here is that what the corals that we do find that there are in fresh water and they're in salty water. So you can buy freshwater pearls, they have them online and so forth. But in corals though, how do we understand that? So there you go, there's where the issue lies. So there's a couple of ways that the scholars have understood this. Number one, and that they said, right, how do corals are known? You know, come row in the fresh water. Okay, good. That they know that pearls come from both salty and fresh water. That's one thing. We're done with the pearls. Just go to corals. How do we understand that? Number two, well, there's a couple of things that we're going to say something? Were you going to say something? Sorry?
No.
Okay. One thing we mentioned that sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions many categories of things, but he only means that one thing comes from one of those categories. What does that mean? It's kind of a little bit of not clear, if you will. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we give this ayah here in Surah Nuh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَلَمْ تَرَى كَيْفَ خَلَقَ اللَّهُ سَبْعَ سَمَاوَاتٍ طِبَاقًا وَجَعَلَ الْقَمَرَ فِيهِنَّ نُورًا وَجَعَلَ الشَّمْسَ سِرَاجًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, do you consider how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the 7 heavens in layers? Or the 7 skies in layers, right? And we made the moon therein a reflected light, and we made the sun a burning lamp. Anyone see the issue here? From the principle that we just took? Meaning that sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions many categories, and a thing is from one of them and not all. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He created 7 skies, right? And then He put in them the moon, Qamar, and He put in them the sun, right? What's the issue there? Only one. He didn't put it in all 7. At least what we know, right? So here, even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He talks about the 7 layers, but what He really is talking about is what in the bottom skies is where the moon and the sun is. So that's sometimes the way the Arabs would speak, right? Sometimes maybe we do that in English. So here, when we can understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that pearls and corals come from both of them, rivers and salt water. What does it mean to understand that they only come from one of them? That's what it means, right? So we have that. You can take the other opinion, whereas that when we talk about the 2 bodies of waters, where the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea, and corals come from both of those, so that's fine. We're safe with that opinion. But if you do the river and the salt water, then you have to do a little bit further more explaining. Another way that we can say it, number 3, is that the word from one of them is missing, or is omitted, I should say. Better word to say omitted. The word from one of them is omitted. Now, how can I come up with that? Well, that sounds like a good answer. Well, if you look at an example here in Surah Zukhruf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in another ayah, وَقَالُوا لَوْلَا نُنزِلَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ عَلَى رَجُلٍ مِّنَ الْقَرَّتَيْنِ عَظِيمٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and they say, people of the Quraysh were telling the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why was this Qur'an not sent down upon a great man, a noble man, from the 2 cities? And you look at the brackets there, the translation it says one of the 2 cities. But the Arabic doesn't have the one in there. If it says that min al-qarratayn, right? So why has the Quran been sent down from a man from the 2 cities? The man has to be from either one of the 2 cities. The 2 cities he's talking about here, if you go in the Tafsir, it's talking about Mecca and this place called Ta'if. It was another city, which was a noble city, and also had some of the idols were there for the Quraysh and so forth. So here they're saying, why hasn't a man why the Quran has been sent from a noble man from the two cities, to understand being from one of the two cities. So that's actually missing, omitted I should say, from the verse. That's just the way the rhetoric is. So the same thing here in this verse is saying that pearls and corals come from both of them, mean from one of them. That's what to understand. You can take that example, how we have here in the Quran, as a proof. That sometimes that has that. Is that clear? Makes sense? It's one of the kind of hard for people to pick up these things. Not everyone's like really keen about the whole language thing. Okay. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Which of the favors of both of your lords? What do we say about that? Who's the two people, or the two things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing? Ocean? No, not oceans. Men and jinn. And what's another opinion? You weren't here last week. It's your birthday, it's okay. Right. And they talk about believers and disbelievers. That's one of the things people said, right? Okay. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says from both, what are the favors of you, man and jinn, are you going to deny? Meaning that what? What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about? Let's go back. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about? In reference to what? The favors that come from the two seas. Right? From pearls and decorations and these type of things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. This is not really unnecessary in the world. That's necessary in the world.
Ornaments like diamonds.
Yeah, well, people do. People love that type of stuff. It's not necessary. It's not you need that as a basic, not like fruit and grains and so forth that we mentioned last week. But that's why the scholars mentioned this ayah is a little bit different. Allah's talking about extra stuff. Tahzeen, yani decorations and so forth He put in this world. And then Allah says, وَلَهُ الْجَوَارِ الْمُنْشَآتُ فِي الْبَحْرِ كَالْأَعْلَامِ. And to Him belongs the ships with sails elevated in the seas like mountains. So now Allah is moving on to the ocean a little bit here. So Allah says, Jawari al-munsha'atu. And the word jawar comes from the word jariya, which means, it also means like a girl, small girl is called a jariya. That's not what it's talking about. If you guys think this is talking about mermaids in the sea, it's not talking about mermaids in the sea. Somebody could try to think about that. Right? But here it's talking about jawar, means something that's yani from the word yajri. And those who study Arabic, yajri means to run. And so the word that these things run and they're elevated in the sea. Obviously talking about oceans. Look like they're not really running, but they're floating. So it belongs to me that the ships elevated in the sea like mountains. So here it means that munsha'at means that it's raised high up, if you will. Right? So what is it talking about? Allah meaning that this is the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed the people with knowledge how to create sails and ships, facilitating it on the means of wind and current. This is an interesting ayah because why? Everything before this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was talking about things that He purely made. The sun, the moon, grains. Like humans can't make grains. Fruits, you can't make a fruit. It just, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it there. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about now ships, and that's not something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made. But He gave us the material, which is beautiful because all these things we're talking about today is about cell phones and my laptop. This is an amazing type of machine. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is a great verse for us in these days where Allah talking about, yes, Allah didn't send down a computer. You can't dig out a computer from the mountain and say, this is a computer I found. You do that with gold and silver and coal and natural gas and so forth. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look, think about the material that was made to get this, how it is today. Or this, if you will. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about boats, which is some man makes, if you will. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we have facilitated these boats for you. And to go on the ocean. And we all know, I don't know if you guys ever been on a boat before, or a sailboat. I don't know if you guys have ever been on a sailboat. Most of you don't go on the ocean at all. So we have a beautiful beach here. People don't like to go in it because it might be dirty and so forth. But anyhow, and it's cold water. I don't know if you go to Indonesia. Is water warm in Indonesia?
Yes.
Yeah. So my family's from the Caribbean, so it's it's naturally warm water when you go into the beach.
In the corridor.
Yeah, it's nice. And it's really clear. You can see your feet and stuff on anything. But here is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about that a sailboat, I don't know if you've ever been on a sailboat. One time I went to Egypt. I lived in Egypt for a while. I went onto the Nile, and they have old school rows and sails. And what happens is that He took us out on this tour, and my family there, we're going to go on the Nile, everyone's happy. We get out there on the Nile, and there's no wind. And so we're just sitting there, not moving. And so the guy has to break out the oars, and he has to row, and he's sweating and dying over, feeling bad for the guy. And see that these boats, back in the day, they don't have motors, like how we have now. So if the wind doesn't blow from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's one thing. We can make the boat. But if that wind never comes, then we're not going to get anywhere, right? And then also, currents. Without the current, same thing when you fly. Everyone knows that when you fly to New York, it only takes like 5 hours or 4 hours. But then when you fly back to California, what happens? It takes 6. Why is that? Because of the airstream, the current of the airstream going from east to west, so it's blowing against you. A thing called tailwind. I don't know if you've heard the word tailwind before, right? Yeah. That's all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't do that. But it saves you an hour in travel. So that's pretty significant, even with modern airplanes here. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, even though you have this, we're the one that caused it to go, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still gives us the means, if you will, that He has. And then if you think here, another point here is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, let me see if I think I have it on the next slide. Yeah. He said, first of all, if you go here, why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying to Him belongs the ships with sails elevated up like mountains? Why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calling ships mountains for? The word a'lam comes from the word alam in Arabic. The word alam with the ayn. Alam with a hamza means pain, so it's a whole different meaning. The word alam in Arabic means like a flag. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they're like flags, which I understand like mountains that are sticking up. Why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calling the ships mountains for? What's the significance there? What's the analogy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying?
It's big, so again, you said it stand out.
It stands out?
Yes.
Okay, very good. What's something else?
The shape and the tall.
The shape of the tall almost look like a mountain. Right? If you look here, right, almost look like flags. Right? Like I said, you don't really see sailboats. Sometimes you see sailboats out there. People are just out there recreation-wise, right? So it almost looks like mountains. But they're all like a pinnacle shape. Why also will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala call them mountains? What's another thing? What do mountains have? Do you think they have a lot of what? Resources in it. You get gold, you get silver in it, you get coal. Usually it carries a lot of things. And one thing about mountains, about ships, they usually carry a lot of sustenance, right? Food, even today, right? All those ships coming from China, you have all this food and furniture and cars and everything. So they bring a lot of substance, bring a lot of wealth that people can use. So number one, it contains a large amount of goods for the people. Arabs will use the word mountain for everything that's raised up. They'll call it mountain. Ad-Jibal, right? That's a mountain, right? That's just the way the Arabs will talk, right? And you can see them from far away. One thing about mountains, you can see a mountain from a long, far away. You see the little tip, right? Same thing with ships. When they're really out on the ocean, you can still see them from a long way, if you will. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once again, He's making an analogy with mountains. Another thing, ships, remember I told you, something that's man-made. But look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes an analogy to. Something that's what? That He created. So He's pulling you back to look how I created these mountains. You guys are trying to make things that look like them. And if you really look at this world, it's all about humans trying to make things that are similar to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did. Right? That's the essence. Perfume, for example, Gucci and all these types of CK1 and CKB and all this stuff. It's pretty much mimicking roses and these lavender flowers and everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already made that smells good. Right? And everything that we have in Allah, it's always like 4K TVs. It's trying to mimic what our eyes can see, pretty much. But when you look at I don't know what K that is, I'm not too sure, right? I don't know, but it's pretty high definition. The TV is just trying to make that, right? We're always chasing what's natural, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made. Dialysis machines are trying to mimic what Allah already created in terms of what our kidneys does. Right? So man-made is always trying to chase after what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already made already. Right? It's something interesting if we think about that. So this kind of thing that we mentioned here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes an analogy. Then He says, فَبِأَيْ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. One thing is, once again, what are these favors that Allah has given us? Right? From the creation of the material, from these boats, safe travel. Anyone been on a cruise before? Right? No one? Right. It's like a floating hotel. It's like really crazy. You don't even feel like you're on the ocean. Right? And you're like, how did Allah made this whole thing float? It is thousands and thousands of pounds or tons, right? And it's not sinking. It's really a crazy idea to think about it, right? So Allah gives you safe travels. He gives you a method of building, and it's execution of the sea, from winds, from currents. And one thing, without the oceans, we won't get a lot of stuff that we have today. Probably this camera here, this laptop, all coming from China, we know, right? It's like the home base of everything that we have, pretty much, unfortunately. Except our kids, they haven't made those yet. They probably will pretty soon, right? But other than that, everything else, your shoes, And that all comes from, I don't know if you guys have ever been to like the San Pedro Pier, the Long Beach Pier, that area there, right? Just a nice little seafood market there. But you see these humongous ships coming with just stacks and stacks of furniture, clothes, cars, all that stuff's coming over from China or Germany, wherever the case may be, which is just amazing to think about that. Right? Otherwise, we'll have to fly all those things over there, and that'll be way too expensive, and we'll probably be paying a lot more for what we do for our stuff. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with this ayah right here, He changes the whole tone of the surah. Everything flips now. Everything was really nice, like mountains, and look at the sun, and look at the moon, and corn, and fruits, and it was like, alhamdulillah, you're nice and happy, and you feel nice and joyous. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts getting a little serious now about life, where He says, كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ. Everything on this earth will perish. Like, that's a big term from everything. Everyone was smiling beforehand about fruits and boats. And Allah says, everything you just talked about right now is going to perish. Man, jinn, made from clay, made from smoke of fire, all you guys are just going to perish now. Gone. And look at the word perish. Not just like going to disappear. Perish means like you don't see like anything else from it anymore. It's just gone. Like there's no traces of it anymore. Right? And this is a reminder for all of those previously mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make, it came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it perish. And He's the controller of everything here. All that we did, all that we have here, is going to come to an end. I tell you this, it's going to be a different tone. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says right after this, وَيَبَقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. And there will remain the face of your Lord, owner of majesty and honor. Now let's look at this ayah right here. I want you guys to put your thinking caps on, your thinking topis on, your thinking hijabs on. And tell me, what is contentious in this verse? Contentious means like an issue, some type of argument, some type of debatable point here in this verse here. That's like causing issues. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. Before we go to that, sorry, let me put this extra point while you're thinking. You have the word here that says يَبْقَى. That what will remain is the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You guys all know about the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? You maybe have this like a picture on your wall or something like that. Every Desi house has one of these things, but I don't know about other people, right? You have all the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these 99 names. There's a name that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called Al-Baqi, right? If you ever have like in the Shahid, that talk about 99 names, you'll hear it, Al-Baqi, right? What does Al-Baqi mean? The one that will remain forever. Where does that come from? If you go to the Quran, you'll never see a word that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls them that I am ana al-baqi, I am al-baqi, I'm the one that will remain forever. Where does that name come from? This verse. It comes from a verb where Allah says yabqa. So a little side note, some of those names, that's maybe a little sad point for you, but some of those names we see on the 99 name charts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not necessarily a name that's mentioned in the Quran, but it's a name that scholars derived from either verbs or from other things. Right? There's the one thing, there's a verse in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَيَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spreads out the sustenance to who He wants. There's a name called Basit. You ever heard of Basit? Abdul Basit, the famous Quran reciter? There's no name in the Quran that says Al-Basit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Al-Basit. But what it comes from, the verb where Allah says in the Quran, Yabasut. He will spread out His sustenance to who He wants. So from this, the scholars took that verb and took a name and said Allah's Al-Basit. You understand how that works? And there's a couple names in there, I think around 4 of them out of the 99 that's mentioned, that it's not in the Quran or not in the Hadith. It's just was derived from one of the scholars in the 3rd century of Islam. And there's like a bigger story about that to go on there. But that's more of a side note about where these 99 names come from. And one thing is not just 99, that's another wrong thing that we have. Yes, there's a hadith that mentions the Prophet said that whoever memorizes 99 names of Allah will enter Jannah. Right? That's pretty, everyone knows I've heard that hadith before. When you talk about memorizing, that you really know the meaning of that word. Not just you memorize it at Quran. You understand it, if you will, that's what's understood. So it's a big story where the 99 names came from. Maybe one day, inshallah ta'ala, we can talk about it more. Another thing, let's go back to my question here, is that what's contentious about this verse here? وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. And the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remain the Lord of majesty and honor. What seems interesting about that?
Everything is temporary except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Good. Well, that's not contentious though. Nobody will argue against that.
His
Yeah.
face.
What about his face?
Allah has a face.
Right? Hold on, does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have a face? That's interesting. And so here, these are the verses we call mutashabihat. Now these are verses in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes similes or make comparison to humans. There's another ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says his hand is above their hand. Right? There's another one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about his face. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about he smiles in a hadith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala smiles at the person who thinks that his dua will not be accepted. Right? So there's a lot of these things here. How do we understand these ayat? Right? There's another verse in Surah Qiyamah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that on Yawm Qiyamah we will look Allah and we will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِذَا رَبِّهَا نَاظِرًا. To our Lord we will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's a couple issues here. Before that last one has a little bit different meaning here. But here is that, how did the scholars talk about this? So the first number one is that, so you see here, is that what does the word face mean? First of all, what you want to understand that anytime you see the ayat in the Quran that talk about a face, Allah has a hand, Allah has, what else is mentioned? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a throne. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sits on a throne. He sits on his kursi, his chair. One thing we understand, this is never like how humans sit. The face is never like a human face. The hand of Allah is not like a human hand. It doesn't have 5 fingers, it doesn't have a fingernail, it doesn't have a cuticle, it doesn't have knuckles. When we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a face, it doesn't mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't have 2 eyeballs and a nose and a mouth and cheekbones and so forth. We don't understand it like that. I'm going to tell you why we don't understand it like that. That's going to come up in my next slide. Number 2, some of the scholars said, you know what? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said he had a face, then guess what? He has a face. But it's not like a human face, but it's a face. Whether that means there's eyeballs, maybe that there's some kind of something, we don't know, but Allah has a face. That's one group of people. Call those the Atharis, and then you go to fiqh and, the Aqidah classes and Creed classes, call it the Athari opinion, that these people, that they had this opinion. Then, which means that they're early scholars. And then there was another group said, you know what? It's meant metaphorically. Now if I tell you guys this, that, you know, Brother Anthony, he is the face of his company. What does that mean?
Most important.
Most important, he's the essence. When you look at him, you think about, you know, like Steve Jobs. When you think about him, you think about what? Think about Apple, right? He's like the face of the company. Even though he passed away, you still think about that, right? And so they're saying that the word, when you use the word face, it's something what's understood metaphorically, means that the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to remain. Meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to remain. I think all of us understood like that, didn't we? So that's how language works. When I tell you that Allah's hand is above their hand, what do you think that means? When someone's like going to get married and the mother says, or the mother-in-law, usually the mother-in-law wouldn't say, but the mother will say, right? Will say what? My hand is with you guys.
Blessing.
Blessings, my support, right? My authority, at least in terms of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is above theirs, right? So here, this is how language works, right? And this is how the poets used to speak, and that's how we speak in English also, right? That's just the way that things work. So some of the scholars said, no, what this means, what? The face of Allah means that the essence of Allah will remain. And this became a very, very big argument among scholars in Creed. And a lot of people didn't like that. That scholars started saying that when Allah's hand's over the hand, that means that Allah's power is over them. Someone said, no, you don't know what that means. Don't say something about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which you don't know. Right? So the better you stay quiet. You can be saying something wrong about Allah and attributing things about Him, and then therefore you say something wrong. So some people have big arguments about this, and some people end up today are willing to kick you out of the religion if you talk like this. Right? Really, really extreme points here. Alhamdulillah, usually our community here in Southern California really don't have these individuals. But in other places, I've known that people are like, they come to you in the masjid and say, you know, where is Allah? And if you don't say Allah is on the throne, then we really just say that, you know, you're a disbeliever or you need to study. Right? Allah said, Istawa ala al-arsh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rise up on the throne after He created the earth. So therefore, that's where Allah is at. Right? If you say, no, Allah is everywhere, then they get really excited. It's like really stuff. You might not understand what the argument is, these type of things are, but people can really get into these things. So one thing we understand here that it could have multiple meanings. Number one, that Allah has a face, but we don't know. That's one opinion. If you have that opinion, alhamdulillah. Number two, that this means metaphorically. It has nothing to do with the face. It means that the essence of Allah's meaning. That's one thing to understand. Now, why don't we understand this in terms of a human face? And I want you guys to kind of remember this verse here, because it's going to help you in your life, inshallah ta'ala, is that there's a golden rule of understanding any verse you come across in the Quran that talks about a similarity to Allah and the humans, Allah's hand, Allah's face, Allah's sitting on the throne. Right? What are these verses? How do we understand it? Is that this verse in Surah Shura, chapter 42, verse number 11, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we're going to take the last part of the ayah here, where it says, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. Right here, he starts around right here. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. That there is nothing unlike Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is a hearing and an all-seeing. Actually, you don't have to worry about the second part. What you really have to worry about, there is nothing unlike to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I tell you right now to picture Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your head, right? Some of you I may be picturing like a big light, maybe some type of really big, like, I don't know, floating thing. I don't know, I'm not too sure what you picture in your head. Know that whatever you picture in your head, it's not like that. Right? The Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's not like anything. There's nothing that's unlike to Him. Right? In terms of the sun, in terms of the universe, Allah is like the universe, He's so big. There's nothing like that. So this is the way we understand these things, and that's the way we stay away from making Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala into a morphism, into like a human being. And that's what people started doing, like the Hindus, kind of. Right? They started making God into like half horse and half elephant and half man, and they might not say God is not like that, and they have different ways of understanding that. But we want to stay away from that. So let me kind of throw a little like side point in here, just since we're on this note, is that what is interesting about the verse when we say that Allah rose on the throne, or that on the day of judgment, or in heaven, or in Jannah, you will إِلَى رَبِّهَا نَاظِرًا. You will go to your Lord and you will be seeing Him. What are the issues with these verses? That Allah raised up on the throne, and He sat on the throne when He sat on the chair, and that on the day of judgment you will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
In the verse it says, Allah is nothing like what humans think, and on the other hand, there are...
Very good, very good. So what are some issues here then about that? That's good, you're there, you're knocking on the door.
It's like making it seem like we can actually imagine what's going on.
Good, knocking on the door again. You're almost there.
Make him like more physical, something like
Physical, very good. You're there. When I said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rose up on the throne, what's the issue about the throne now? Is the throne smaller than Allah or bigger?
bigger.
You ever sit down on a tiny chair before? The little kid's chair, what happened? You fall off or you break it.
Yeah.
Right? So the chair has to be
Bigger.
bigger than myself, or else I'll fall off. I'll be sitting really uncomfortable, like an airplane chair or something like this, right? In the economy section, right? So here is that what? Guess what? The throne has to encompass Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what's the issues with that? Then Allah subhanahu must have what? A shape. It must be confined. And He must be smaller than the chair. So the chair is actually greater than Allah. We should be worshiping what? The chair, right? How about the verse where it says that إِلَىٰ رَبِّهَا نَاظِرًا? To our Lord we'll be seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What's the issue there?
What will we see? Like in what form?
What form? Very good. When I tell you that I'm looking at Brother Mahmoud right now, what does that imply?
There is some like physical thing you're looking at.
Physical, he's in what? He's in front of me, he's not behind me, right? And I can encompass him with what? My eyesight. If I tell you I'm looking at the sky, I'm not really looking at the sky, I'm only looking at one portion. If I go like this and start waving my head around until I get really dizzy, then I'm really looking at the entire sky. And honestly, when it comes down to it, I'm really not looking at the entire sky, because the sky keeps on expanding, right? So here, that I can't really encompass the sky when I look at it. But Brother Mahmoud, I can. He's like right there. He's not way over here, he's not way over there, but he's right in front of me. So when we say that we're going to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one issue is that there's direction. That Allah is going to be in front of me, He's not all around me. Number two, that you could encompass Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That he's a certain height and certain length, right? Because if you could see him, that means he's not way over here and way over there, that there's a certain mass and body. So these are problematic ayat. And that's why some people, I don't know if you guys ever heard about the Mu'tazila or the rationalists that came after later on in Islam, they couldn't understand these ayat very well. Their minds started like smoking, right? And steam started coming out. They're like, what does this mean? So they say, when you see it, means that when you come to your Lord and you're going to see him on the Day of Judgment, it means that you're going to experience like emotions. You're not going to really see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because you can't see him. Because the eyes physically cannot see him. So when we understand these ayat, the way we understand it, that no, we're going to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But how is that going to be done? Allahu A'lam. When you get there, then we'll find out. You guys can let me know how that is. Inshallah. As the Sahaba asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are we going to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Yawm al-Qiyamah? The Prophet says that, don't you see this full moon on a clear night? He said, yes. You see the sun on a clear day? They said, yes. So that's how you will see your Lord on Yawm al-Qiyamah. So you will definitely see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First of all, that should make you really excited. That's amazing. Like, we've been worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala our whole life. We've been praying toward this white wall here, right? Now you're actually going to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, once again, how that space is going to be, don't worry about these things. It's not going to benefit you, right? It's like the man who came to Imam Malik, rahimahullah, and says, what does istiwa al-arsh mean? That Allah rose up on the throne. What does this mean? Imam Malik started sweating. He said, you know what? We take the verse that Allah raised up on the throne, we understand it like this, and we don't ask how it is. And you are an evil person, and get away from me. That's what he told him. He said, you're an evil person, and you did bid'ah. You did innovation, I'm asking these questions, so get away. And this, unfortunately, is what happened to a lot of Muslims later on. I'm in a big tangent now. Later on, when the Prophet passed away, Islam started spreading. And Islam started getting north into the Roman Empire and to Greek philosophy and Aristotle and these people and logic started coming into what? Into the Muslim Ummah. And the Muslims didn't know how to argue this. How can we prove Allah exists? And Allah exists, Allah's not where Allah exists. What do you want? How do you prove Allah exists? Rationally, without the verses of the Quran and no hadith. This started making Muslims started smoking, and they didn't know how to debate these people anymore. And that caused a lot of issues where people didn't know, and it led people to a lot of disbelief. So this is that people still have these issues today, right? But very small issues that people have today, but that's still around. So that's something how we understand these ayats. It's more focusing on worshiping your Lord. That's more better for you, inshallah ta'ala. Find out exactly how does Allah sit on the chair. It doesn't matter. If you understand that, it's not going to benefit you in this world too much. Okay. So here the word, then finish the ayah here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Jalal wal Ikram. What does Jalal mean? Some people know the word Jalil. Some people are Abdul Jalil, or somebody might know someone named Jalil or Jalal. Here the word Jalal means an owner. Dhul Jalal. Dhul means owner of grandeur and exaltedness, right? Loftiness, right? Well, that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. And Ikram means the grantor of bounties upon His creation, right? And why is this mentioned for? That only Allah is going to exist because He's the one of what? Jalal Ikram. Because this here, possible meaning here is that He's the one that we have done all our deeds for. Right? That's the one that's going to be remaining. Right? He's the one that we have done it for. The one who has the greatness and granderness, if you will, exaltedness. And then we have the next ayah. فَبِأَيْ عَلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. The favors and bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is His majesty. This is relating to the greatness of Allah, making everything come to an end. And the bounties are going to be in the hereafter for us to come. That's how we understand that, what that means here. Next ayah that we have, يَسْأَلُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. Whoever is within the heavens and the earth, ask Him. Every day He is bringing about a matter. So what does it mean? That everyone is in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their affairs, their characteristics, and their essence. Everyone's asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even those in the heavens, and even those on the earth. Now the ones on the earth we understand. That's me and you. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every day for something. Right? We need Allah give us this, Allah give me a job, or Allah take the sickness away from me. But what are the ones in the heaven asking for? What's their issue? Right? So that kind of brings up a question here. who is in the heavens in the first place? The angels, malaika, right, are there. So what's understood about this is that they ask for the forgiveness and mercy for themselves, even though they didn't do anything wrong, right? But that's just out of their humbleness. Or another opinion is that they're asking for sustenance for the people on the earth. So the people or those who are in the heavens, I mean the malaika, the angels, are making dua for us, right? And there's some hadith that mention this, that when you go out and study knowledge, there's an angel there making dua for you, for your sustenance and for your well-being and so forth. Like that. So we have to understand that this was actually what's understood here. And grammar-wise, let's go back to our grammar. You guys haven't done a grammar lesson in a long time, so let's go back there. So here, grammar-wise, يَسْأَلُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Whoever is in the heavens and the earth, ask him. What's grammar-wise, what's missing here from the sentence? Yusuf, what's missing? Amin, I know you have to sleep. But what's missing? From what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that everyone in the heavens and the earth ask him.
Like asking what?
Exactly, what are they asking? That's omitted from the ayah here. What is that omitted for? Right? What are they asking about? Is what to show that this is open. We ask so many different things, right? That it's not just one need. It's that showing our dependency on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even those who are in the heavens are dependent, right? And we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to cause everyone in the heavens to die also. And He'll make them perish also on the day of judgment. And He'll be the only one alive. There's a famous hadith that mentions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, who is a king today? Where are the kings that it said that they're so great today? Where are they now? No one's alive. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala left here. So every day is brought ahead. If you look here, another grammar point here. Allah says, "Kullu yawmin huwa fi shan." Every day He brings a matter. This is a predicate that's coming in front of the subject. For example, if I say, Brother Hamza is a Muslim. But if I say, a Muslim, Brother Hamza is. Sounds like weird, right? But why would you put the predicate in front of the subject? Because of grammar, because of rhetoric-wise. Rhetorically wise, it has more meaning, right? For example, let me try to get an example here. Muslim I am, right? Some people say this, right? Student I am, right? Why would you say Muslim I am for? I am a Muslim, that's how you talk. But Muslim I am means that you want to focus on Islam, you're Muslim if you will, before I first want to say anything. That's what's really important. I am is not really important, right? But Islam is what's important. So same here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that every day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasizes that every day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making matter happen, right? His qadr is being enforced, and He will finish that, right? He's bringing about a matter every single day. That shows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's authority, His dependency that we have upon Him, that we need Him for every single minute of our lives. Right? That's one thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to wake us up and show this connection of how we need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَبِأَيْ أَلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Bounties, this is related to the bounties that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala supplies us with every day. Right? So which are the favorite? All these bounties I give you every day, Allah is bringing down bounties for you. So which of these favors I'm going to give you? Right? Every day that you're breathing air, every single day, you're waking up from your sleep. Alhamdulillah, Allah didn't take your soul. Right? He brought you up. Every day these bounties that you have, what are you doing with them? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَنَفْرُغُ لَكُمْ أَيُّهَا الثَّقَلَانِ. We will attend to you, O prominent beings. Right? And the meaning here is that we will dispose of your affairs and reward you on that day of judgment. So now the meaning of the surah is totally different now, right? The beginning of the surah was talking about bounties of food and the sun and the moon. But now it's a whole different tone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. سَنَفْرُغُ لَكُمْ. That we were going to take you to accountability. أَيُّهَا الثَّقَلَانِ. You two heavy beings. What's understand here, this is talking about mankind and jinn. Why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that mankind is heavy for? And jinns are heavy. Why would He call it? The word thaqal in Arabic, thaqil, means that they're it's weighty, if you will. Right? Why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calling us heavy and calling the jinns heavy? Even though we have some heavy people on this earth, we all know that some really people that eat a lot. So There are some definitely happy people in this world. But why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calling, oh you heavy individuals? Why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use that term?
Significance?
Huh?
Does it give us significance?
Because they give us
It's
this?
like prominent, or like prominent as in like expressing like is there important creations?
Well, why we're important? Okay, yeah, we're important creation. Okay, good. What's something else?
Or addressing the prominent people or powerful people.
Only that. But we know all of us are going to go to affairs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's not just the prominent ones, right? One thing we understand that here is that they're depicted as being prominent and heavy because they're being carried upon the earth. Like someone's being carried on an animal, that this earth that's like we're riding on us. Right? Number two, because we've been entrusted with obligations and duties. That's why we have heaviness on us. We have all these obligations on our back and all these duties that we're supposed to carry out, our salawat, our zakat, commanding good, forbidding evil. As you guys have been trusted, you guys are heavy beings. You guys have a lot of things that you guys are taking to you and also in the day of judgment, all your deeds. So you guys have this weightiness in it. And obviously the heaviness on the earth from the living and the deceased. That all of us are being buried on this earth, we're weighing it down. And that's like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Zilzal. It's a surah all of you guys have probably memorized before. Where it says, وَأَخْرَجَتْ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا. Right? وَأَخْرَجَتْ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take out the athqal, the heaviness of the earth. Talking about the bodies on resurrection. Allah will pull out the bodies on the day of judgment. When the day of judgment starts. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls it athqal, like this heaviness of that, right? Or planted on the earth, like as weights on it, if you will. Right? So that's one thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions here. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Now you guys really have to take your thinking caps down. Because every time before this ayah, which are the favors of your Lord you done, which are the favors of your Lord tonight, Allah mentions some bounty before that. Fruits, grains, the sun, the moon, the rivers, the seas, the ships on the ocean, right? But now if you look at this verse right here before that, it says that we are going to take you guys, we're surely going to take you to accountability, right? Oh, you heavy people, individuals, been trusted with duties and commands. Which are the favors of your Lord tonight? Hold on, what's the favor here now? What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about here? Right? What bounty is it that Allah is going to take us into account? So that brings up a question now. Right? What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about here? How do we answer that? That's the issue here. How do we understand this ayah here? In terms of what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about in terms of the bounties that He has placed upon us. But one way we can understand that here is that this is not talking about any bounties. But this is now, the tone is changing. This is more of a rebuking and a kind of like a threat now. That we're going to take you to accountability. Which are the favors of your Lord are you going to deny that you've been denying all the time? That you're going to be shown up to accountability. You're coming here on Yawm al-Qiyamah. You're going to be asked about that breath. You're going to be asked about that heart you had, your kidneys, your hearing, that wealth that you had. These favors that I give you, now which one did you deny? Now we're about to find out which one you denied. Right? That you thought you were so great, you didn't pray, you didn't give thanks to Allah. Now we're going to find out. Now you see the tone is totally different now. It was like Mr. Nice Guy at the beginning. Like, which of the favors? Everyone loved the first part of the surah. But now it's like, oh man, this is pretty serious now. Like, these are favors that you don't think about it. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that there's going to be you're going to be taken into account. Right? So now it's not talking really about bounty. It's more of a rebuking and a threat and a waking up call, if you will. What's happening here. The next ayah that we have, يا معشر الجن والإنس إن استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض